Your boy Bando is doing episode 34 and 35 back to back. And it's hot as fuck in this podcast room. So, we're going to try to make this quick, but it ain't going to be brief because we got a lot to discuss. Because this weekend, it's what, UFC 292? I don't want to say 291. It is 291. 291. Look at me. I'm too stupid. UFC 291 is this weekend, and it is the baddest mother effer card. Let's get right into it. I'm not even going to... Let's just break this shit down. Let's go. So, we're going to keep it brief, and we're sticking with the main card, because the main card is absolute insanity. I mean, not to say that the whole card is an insanity. Let me just give you a quick brief of the prelims. You got Jake Matthews going up against Miguel Baeza, Roman Kopylov going up against Claudio Ribeiro, Derek Lewis is returning, going up against Marcos Rodrigo de Lima. Then you got Gabriel Bonfim for your hip 14-0 prospect. Make sure to pay attention. Going up against Trevin Giles. That could be a good matchup. And then you got the main card. My gosh, this main card. It's just awesome. Like I said, it's the baddest mfer card. Opening the card, you got Michel Chiesa up against Kevin Holland. We haven't seen Michel Chiesa in a minute. Wasn't his best performance on the last outing, but it's nice to see him in a good matchup. A guy stylistically who he can have some fun with, he can work with. Kevin's got great hands though, so Michel Chiesa's got to really, if he's going to press the game on the ground, he's got to press it early because he might end up getting pieced up because Kevin's hands are very, very deadly. He's very quick with them, and it's like he's got these noodles, these pasta noodle arms with grenades at the end of them when he hits you. So that's going to be a fun fight, though, because if you get a version of Chiesa that's going to bring the heat, you know Kevin Holland's going to answer it right back. I don't think Chiesa's on the same level of Hamza with the wrestling or anything like that, but his jiu-jitsu is nasty. You don't want to get caught. But Kevin Holland also has that sneaky jiu-jitsu, that slick shit, so you got to watch out for that as well. So, fun one, great fight to open the card. Moving into Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green. Now, if you would have told me this fight was happening 5 years ago, I would have been like so obsessed with it because it's just two dudes you know bring the heat every single time. There's going to be blood in this fight. They're going to be swinging and banging in this fight. But it's not the same Tony. At least I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong about that. I really do. I really hope I am wrong about that statement, that this is not the same Tony. But from the last fight, we didn't see the best Tony. But this is Tony cutting back down to lightweight. Going up against a slugger like Bobby Green. I don't know. But Bobby Green's not coming off the best performance either. I think his last performance was him getting KO'd by Drew Dober. Let's see. Oh, the no contest against Jared Gordon, which is not something to write home about. And then he got the KO loss. Yeah, KO loss against Drew Dober. So I think Bobby Green, coming off of what he last had, he looked good against Jared Gordon. It just he didn't get to do what he can do. He didn't get to do what he's best at. Unfortunately, due to that headbutt. But him and Tony could be fun. It's not prime Tony. It's not 11 fight win streak Tony, but it's still Tony Okukui Ferguson. I just hope El Kukui comes out. That's all I'm asking for. Bring El Kukui out. I really want to see Tony get a win. Who I'm rocking with in that one, I don't know. Alright, so I didn't even give you my prediction. So my prediction for Holland and Chiesa, I'm going with Kevin Holland. How? TKO second round. No, scratch that. I'm never making predictions like that because I'm always wrong. I'm just going to go with Kevin Holland. And then in this one, I'm rocking with Tony Ferguson. I'm going with Tony. I know I said all that stuff right then, talking about Tony not being the same. I really don't think he is. I can see Bobby winning this fight, no doubt, but I want Tony Ferguson to get the nod. Then you're moving on to Stephen Thompson versus Michel Pereira, which was on the prelims originally before Paulo Costa and Ikram Aliskerov got canceled. So Stephen Wonderboy Thompson going up against Michel Pereira. You know that's going to be fireworks. It's not going to be a slugfest, but it's going to be a wild fight. It's going to be a flashy fight. But let's be honest with it. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, when he's on and he's catching you, there's nothing you can do. You don't get into your rhythm. You don't get comfortable. You can't get anything set. You're not getting your punches off. And I think Wonderboy is going to be the type of guy to freeze Michel Pereira to where Pereira can't do anything. So it's an interesting fight because of how flashy Pereira is. With all that backflips and all that kind of stuff, backflips into a full mount, everything that he does a lot of wild stuff. But I think overall, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson being as sound with his technique and clean and everything like that, he's going to make it a long night for Michel Pereira. So I'm rocking with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in that fight. I love it. I'm glad it's on the main card now. I was excited for seeing Paulo Costa, but if we're going to get him and Hamza in October, I'm rocking with that too. So Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Michel Pereira, I'm rocking with Wonderboy, so that'll be fun. And you already know we're at that point in the video where we're to the co-main event and the main event. So when it's Bando sitting here talking about fights, comes down to Bando's Big Dog Breakdown. Let's get into that shit. So you already know. Bando's Big Dog Breakdown comes with the videos, comes with the extra shit, highlights from their past fights for all these opponents and everything like that. But we are going into two of the baddest motherfucking matchups. Legitimately, that's why this is the BMF card, because you're going into two BMF matchups, and one is actually for the title of the BMF, the BMF belt. It's for the BMF belt. So, first one, co-main event, Jan Blachowicz, your former light heavyweight champion, going up against Alex Pereira, your former middleweight champion, making his light heavyweight debut, and I love it. I love it so much. Now, if you watch my past videos, I talked about Alex Pereira needed to come to light heavyweight and fight somebody that Glover has already fought. Now, I wasn't immediately thinking Jan Blachowicz, but with the last fight that Jan was in and everything like that, perfect. Let's run it. Let's get it. I love it. But Alex has got to be careful. There are sneaky punches that Jan throws in these combinations. The one against the one against Luke Rockhold, it was like late. It was delayed. It was a delayed counter. So he caught him with a beautiful check left. Who else did he catch with it? He caught Dominic Reyes with a very awkward combination coming over the top with that left hook. There are times, the way he times his punches, Alex has to be careful. Alex has to make sure he keeps his hands up in this fight. That's the main thing. And Jan likes to throw a lot of body kicks, but Alex is the guy who is going to check and block your kicks, no doubt. He's going to make you pay every time you throw kicks. I think this matchup is good because Jan doesn't move much either. Jan is going to stand right in front of Alex, and that's a problem. That's a big problem because if he does, that left hook is going to be there almost every time. And if once Alex sees that he's got you hurt, he swarms. He's just got to be careful that when Jan doesn't, play possum, like Izzy said, play possum, all that type of shit. Yeah, he's just got to make sure that Jan doesn't play possum in one of those moments where he gets hit and chucks some nasty shit up. Because like I said, Jan is quick. He finds weird counters, like in weird combinations. He's very unorthodox, and his style shouldn't be something that works, but it does. It really does. So he's got to be careful. But Alex also they both have to be careful. They both have to be as careful as possible, right? They got to be very, very smart in this fight. But it's big. I don't know if it hasn't been announced to be for the light heavyweight championship, but we know it's vacant. So who knows? You never know. There could be a interim slap down the weekend of. You never know. I don't know what's going on, but as of right now, just looks like a 3-round light heavyweight co-main event, and I would guarantee it's the number one contender at least to maybe go up against Yuri Prochazka, because Yuri will probably be ready by the beginning of the year. So I'd love to fucking see Alex and Yuri. Damn, man, I would love to see that fight. I know you would love to see that fight, too. We would all love to see that fight as fight fans. Jan and Yuri would be fun, too. That would be an exciting fight, but I think Alex and Yuri is like a two mythical creatures type of fight. Well, are we not going to admit that Alex Pereira is like the scariest dude in the UFC? Isn't that weird? Like, a man could lose, get knocked out cold, and still be so fearful. You watch one video of the man hitting pads, and you're like, jeez, bruh. Relax. Who wants to hold the pads for that guy? Who the fuck wants to hold pads for anybody, honestly? Why would anybody want to do that? Why don't you just fight? I have sore hands, sore inside of fucking getting your body hit and shit. Fuck all that. Just go fight. At least you probably take the same amount of damage. And maybe get paid more. Probably get paid more. I hope. If you're good enough, you'd probably get paid for. But either way, let me not get off topic. But that's the co-main event. Very exciting co-main event. Very important co-main event because it gives us a number one contender, if not a champion, if UFC doesn't sneak that in there somehow. But guaranteed going to give us a number one contender. And how quick of a rise would that be for Alex Pereira, too? Before I go on to the main event, let's just talk about that for a second. That is a huge rise. The man fought like 3 fights in the middleweight division, or 3 fights before becoming champion. Becoming champion on the 4th fight, loses it on the 5th fight. It happens, but on his 6th fight in the UFC, is it right? Is this his 6th fight in the UFC? Already gonna be fighting for like your number one contender. That's crazy. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7th fight in the UFC. 7th fight in the UFC. That's insane. That's insane. And to possibly be for a belt and to guaranteed be a number one contender, that's amazing. That's amazing. What a quick rise just off the fact that he knocked out Israel Adesanya in the past. It built that up so quickly. But moving on to the main event, the BMF belt is vacant. It is on the line. It is on the line again. It's on the line again. Can you believe that? I never thought this belt would actually be a thing. I thought it was like a done, one time, little fun little thing, push it off to the side. But at the same time, to bring it back, and you're bringing it back with the rematch between Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaetjhe, I ain't mad at it. I ain't gonna complain. I'm not bitching. Not at all. Run it. Run it, because you're talking about 2 of the baddest MFers in the game without a doubt. In their first fight, oh my gosh. If you haven't seen their first fight, don't even finish my podcast. Just go watch that. Just go back, hit the UFC free fight on YouTube and watch that fight. Oh my gosh, it was a slugfest. It was back and forth, heavy shots, heavy leg kicks, but it was an earlier stage of Justin Gaetjhe. This was like his 3rd fight in the UFC, 3rd or 4th fight in the UFC. So it was an early stage of Justin Gaetjhe. He it's not that he wasn't smart. He was more just a dude looking to slug. You saw his how much better he's got over time from the Tony Ferguson fight. Even his fight with Khabib, even though he lost, there was still certain things you saw in that fight where you're like, all right, his training is different. He's not just looking to slug all the time. Obviously, not the best performance against Charles, but Rafael Fiziev, he went in there with looking very technically sharp. He did very well against Fiziev. I almost forgot about that fight. If you remember his fight against Cowboy, a lot of fights where they weren't just slugfest. He was staying tight, staying in the pocket, staying very smart, very much more technical than just slugging. If he can go into this fight and do that, he's got a good chance of winning. He's probably hungrier than Dustin Poirier. He's got more to win, more to gain than Dustin Poirier. This BMF belt isn't huge, right? But at the same time, like, I see Dustin fighting a few more fights and getting on his way out. I see Justin fighting a few more fights and trying to get himself back to a belt. Not to say that Dustin's like done, he needs to retire or anything, but there's going to be at a point where he might not be able to get back to the belt, and he might not. It doesn't seem like he cares to get to that belt. Seems like he just wants to put on exciting performances, which he's always done. He's always been great at doing that. That's why he's fighting for this belt. But either way, let's get to the full-fledged actual breakdown of the fight. But who's going to win in this fight? I'm rocking with Dustin Poirier because I think he's just cleaner. He's just cleaner with the boxing. Now, we did see his legs get torn up in the first fight. The legs got torn up in the first fight. So, he's definitely got something that is very, very dangerous to pay attention to this entire fight. But I have seen him in past fights recently check leg kicks much better than he did in that fight. So hopefully he'll be checking leg kicks. But I think he's much cleaner. There's a lot of shots that Justin Gaetjhe throws. The uppercut that he's very good at, the left hook. But with the way that Dustin's defense is, it's a very unorthodox defense. It's a very weird defense. The way his guard is and stuff like that. I see him blocking a lot of Justin's best shots and countering quick. Countering down the middle, coming straight down the middle. Every time Justin comes with anything that's looping, I see Dustin just eating it, coming down the middle. Now, if Justin lands, you never know. Justin's one of the hardest hitters in the lightweight division, so I can't tell. I can't tell it. If he lands, it could be night-night, but it's Dustin Poirier. He eats shit, keeps on pushing forward. But these are both guys that can end somebody with one punch, but they're also both guys who don't get ended with one punch. So we'll see. I can never call those fights because you're used to seeing these guys eat shots. But how long can these guys eat shots for? And you're talking about eating shots against the heaviest hitters in the division. So, and it's the two heaviest hitters going against each other. So it's gonna be fun. It's a rematch that should have been done a little bit earlier, but I'm glad it's happening now. At a really good stage in Justin Gaethje's career. You see him evolving as a fighter. Dustin Poirier has completely evolved as a fighter. We've seen him rise to the top a couple times, so it's going to be very, very fun. You already know you're going to get some blood. You're going to get a wild back-and-forth contest, and it might be a 5-round slugfest. And if it is, we are in for a treat. We are in for a treat and a Fight of the Year contender without a doubt. So I'm excited for it. I know you're excited for it. It's the BMF card. That's pretty much what it is. It is the BMF card. A lot of bad motherfuckers on this card. Now, like I said, a couple guys who I wish, were the same. I wish Tony was the same. I wish Tony was that 11-fight win streak Tony on this card because that'd be super exciting. But it is what it is. I want to see Tony get that dub. That's the main thing I want to see on this card is two people get their win. I want to see Tony get his dub, and I want to see Alex get his win, mainly because I want Alex versus Yuri in the future. So hopefully I can get that, but if I don't, I just want some super exciting fights, and I know that's what all the fans want. So make sure to tune into UFC 291. Make sure to tune into my next episode. Make sure to watch all my past episodes. Make sure to like. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to comment, and hit the bell notification button so you know when the next episode comes out. Alright, I'm out. I'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you, as always, for watching. I'll talk to you later. Peace.